All idealists live in agony. It is not only the existentialist philosophers who are in agony. Of course, they have brought the word to great prominence, for the simple reason that this century has come as far away from nature and existence as possible. One step more and humanity disappears. This was the longest distance possible we have traveled it. We have come as far away from ourselves as possible. That's why in this century a philosophy like existentialism became possible. I showed one of the histories of existentialism to one of my old professors, who must have studied 30, 40 years before. At that time the word existentialism was not even coined. Sartre, Jaspers, Marcel were yet to be. He looked at the content, and he could not believe it. He said, "Is this a book on philosophy? No chapter on God, no chapter on the proofs for God, no chapter on religion, no chapter on the soul of man, no chapter on beyond death, heaven, hell, a strange history, chapters on agony, meaninglessness, anguish, anxiety. These are philosophical subjects?" I said. "You have missed 40 years. You have completely forgotten that since you were in the university, studying philosophy, and after that, you have never bothered about what has been happening to philosophy. You are still remembering Aristotle, Kant, Hegel, Feuerbach, Shankara, Nagarjuna, Bradley. You are still remembering these people who have really faded out. They are simply no longer in. And any philosopher worth the name today is not interested in God. He is interested in man. And to be interested in man brings all these problems. Agony," he said. But what is agony? I had to use his language, something from the past history of philosophy, so that he could have a little insight into agony. In the past there has been a great philosophical question down the ages. The question was, between animals, trees, rocks, and man, what is the difference? Certainly they all exist. As far as existence is concerned, there is no difference. Certainly they all live, even rocks grow. The Himalayas are growing every year, 1 foot higher. The place where I was born was by the side of a mountain range called Vindhyachal. It is thought to be the most ancient mountain in the world. It is almost a proven fact that Vindhyachal and the land around it came out of the sea first, because on Vindhyachal corpses of sea animals have been found, which are the most ancient. On the Himalayas also they have been found, but they are not so ancient. The Himalayas are the youngest mountains in the world, and Vindhyachal is the oldest mountain in the world. Just by the way, I am reminded of the story about Vindhyachal in the Upanishads. One great seer, Agastya, went to South India and had to cross Vindhyachal. Vindhyachal was so high it was difficult for the seer, so he prayed to Vindhyachal, "Be kind enough to just bend down a little and let me pass, and remain bending till I come back, because I will have to pass again." Agastya died in the south and never came back. But Vindhyachal is still bending. If you see the mountain, you can see it is as if an old man is bending. The story is beautiful, but it shows that Vindhyachal is really old. An old man who cannot even stand straight. Mountains grow old or young, they are as alive as you are. Trees, animals, birds, as far as life is concerned. We may have different kinds of life, but we all have a certain quality called living, aliveness, which is similar. So in ancient philosophy this has been a problem. Then what is the difference? Is there no difference? There have been two schools. One said there is no difference, we are all alike. We are part of one single whole, different dimensions, different branches, but we are all rooted in one existence. These are the spiritualists who say that we are all one. The other school is that of the materialists, who say that we are all separate. There is no organic unity anywhere, existence is not one. According to the materialists, the word universe should not be used. The word universe was invented by the spiritualists because it means uni, one. According to the materialists, the right word should be multiverse many, not one. Everything is separate, and there is no unity anywhere. And how does this whole go on? And in such a tremendous harmony. This is where you will see how logic can be fallacious. The spiritualist says there is harmony because it is ruled by one God, or one universal consciousness, one absolute being, one center, controls everything. That's why nothing goes wrong. Everything moves in an absolute harmony, and the universe is vast. It is immense, immeasurable still. Everything goes on without any disturbance, without any discrepancy. The logic seems to be solid, but it is not so. The same logic the materialist uses. He says it goes on in such a harmonious way, because there is nobody who is controlling it. Whenever there is somebody who is controlling everything, there is a possibility of failure, mistakes, errors. Nobody is infallible. If there were one God controlling everything for millions of years, sometimes he might fall asleep. Sometimes just for a change he might go for morning walk. If it is being controlled by one being, then there is every possibility of a mistake. And during such a long period, can you think that a person will not commit any mistake? Just by mistake, he may commit a mistake. And there are so many things to be arranged and looked after. Just look. Just the other day Vivek was saying to me, seeing a peacock with its feathers open, so colorful, God must be taking so much care to paint them. If God were really to paint all the peacocks of the world, then you can be certain there would bound to be 1,001 mistakes. Howsoever infallible God is, he cannot manage to go on painting year by year millions and millions of peacocks. And not only peacocks, there are other birds, and every detail has to be looked into. The materialists say that the world goes on perfectly because there is no manager. So who can commit a mistake? It is mechanical. The same logic the spiritualist tries to prove God, the materialist tries to prove, using the same logic, this harmony, this continuity, that there is no manager, that it is all mechanical. Only machines are not able to commit mistakes. Either they work or they fail. While the machine is working, it will be working the way it has been working forever, reproducing again and again, again and again, the same kinds of peacock feathers. It is not a work of consciousness. A conscious mind would try to improve, would like to change a little bit once in a while, to put a little more red, a little more green, a little more blue, a little different blue, because there are so many kinds of blues, and so many kinds of greens. Once in a while he would put the head of one bird on another bird. One gets bored, putting on the same kind of head again and again, the same red nose again and again, just for a change. One would change to yellow, green, blue. But nothing like that happens. The materialist says it is mechanical. It is a vast mechanism that goes on, reproducing without any mind. While it produces, it will be producing the same. Yes, one day every machine fails, but you will not be there to know it. Once the machine fails, you fail too. So there will be nobody as a witness of the failure. I told the old professor, his name was Professor Dasgupta, through this argument, I can help you to have some insight into agony. The existentialist says there is a difference between animals and man. For the first time, a certain group of thinkers has pointed to a difference, which really makes a difference. They say, two sentences will have to be understood. One is existence precedes essence, and the other is essence precedes existence. In animals, essence precedes existence. Essence means whatsoever they are going to be. The whole program comes first, before their birth. Before they exist, the blueprint is there. They bring their blueprint with themselves. It is ahead of them. Their existence follows the essence. The essence means the program, the blueprint of what they are going to be, how many lives they are going to live, how many children they will have, what colors they will change to according to seasons, everything. So much so that there are birds who come flying from the North Pole, 3,000 miles down, because it becomes too cold there, and to exist is impossible. They have to. They start exactly on the same date every year. They don't have any calendar. They don't know that the season is going to change, but on the exact date, day, time, millions of birds immediately start moving toward the south. They will stop only when they have passed the 3,000-mile radius, because within 3,000 miles, they will not be able to survive. They need a little warmer place. But the strangest thing that has puzzled the scientists is that, while they are away from their Arctic home, the season for reproduction comes. So they mate, they make love, they find boyfriends, girlfriends. It takes time for the girls to become pregnant and then lay their eggs. By the time they lay the eggs, the warm season is finished. Now the Arctic is ready to receive them back. So they leave the eggs and fly back to the Arctic, exactly on the same date as their forefathers and their forefathers have always done. Those eggs hatch in their time, and the birds come out and start flying toward the Arctic, 3,000 miles in the exact direction they fly back to their world. Strange, absolutely miraculous, because nobody is there to tell them where. Your parents have gone. You don't have a map, and the Arctic is far away 3,000 miles and you are a little bird just out of the egg. Such a long journey with no preparation. But they manage, they reach. And this happens year after year. This is the meaning of essence coming first, existence following. They don't know what they are doing. It is some inner impulse, some urge that takes those birds far away. Flying 3,000 miles without fail, they reach their parents, who had left them in the eggs without even telling them, "We are going, so when you get out, please come back home. Don't forget us. We will be waiting there," or giving them any indication of direction. Nothing, no message has been left. At least they could have left one old guy and said, "When all these kids come out, you take them home." Nobody is left, no message is left, no contact exists between them, but they reach their homes.